오마하의 현인이라 불리는 세계 4위의 부자 워렌 버핏. 돈을 다 투자로 벌었다는데요. 도대체 어떻게 투자했을까요? 그의 현재 재산은 2019년 기준으로 했을 때 우리나라 돈으로 약 10조쯤 됩니다. 와, 어떻게 벌었냐고요? 바로 복리의 마법 덕분이라고 합니다.
Einstein is reputed to have said that compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world or something like that. And it goes back to that story you probably learned when you were in grade school where somebody did something for the king and the king said, "What can I do for you?" And he said, "Well, let's take a chessboard and put one kernel of wheat on the first square and then double it on the second and double it on the third." And the king readily agreed to it. And by the time he figured out what 2 to the 64th amounted to, he was giving away the entire kingdom.
워렌 버핏은 주식을 11살 때부터 시작했다고 하는데요. 본격적인 투자관은 컬럼비아 대학교에서 벤저민 그레이엄을 만나면서 만들어졌다고 합니다.
Gentlemen, that's Graham.
Ben was this incredible teacher. I mean, he was a natural, and he drew us all in. It was like learning baseball from a fellow who was batting 400. It shaped my professional life.
그의 투자관을 조금 더 한번 살펴볼게요.
Rule number 1, never lose money. Rule number 2, never forget rule number 1.
Ben Graham basically coined the term value investing. He believed in careful scrutiny of a company's financial statements and that if you bought value, it would eventually prove out.
누구나 돈을 벌고 싶어 하죠. 하지만 한국 시장에서 주식을 하는 95%의 사람들은 손해를 보고 있다고 합니다. 돈을 잃지 않기 위해선 어떻게 해야 할까요?
Ted Williams wrote a book called The Science of Hitting, and in it he had a picture of himself at bat and the strike zone broken into, I think, 77 squares. And he said if he waited for the pitch that was really in his sweet spot, he would bat 400, and if he had to swing at something on the lower corner, he would probably bat 235. And in investing, I'm in a no-called strike business, which is the best business you can be in. I can look at 1,000 different companies, and I don't have to be right on every one of them, or even 50 of them. So I can pick the ball I want to hit. There's a temptation for people to act far too frequently in stocks simply because they're so liquid. Over the years, you develop a lot of filters. And I do know what I call my circle of competence. So I stay within that circle, and I don't worry about things that are outside that circle. Defining what your game is, where you're going to have an edge, is enormously important.
워렌 버핏은 자신이 잘 아는 기업, 아는 분야에 투자하라고 말합니다. 가치를 모르는 기업에 들어가면 사야 할 때와 팔아야 할 때를 모르기 때문이죠. 그럼 기업에서 뭘 핵심적으로 봐야 할까요? 여기 우리와 같은 질문을 가진 사람이 물어봅니다.
What are the key indicators you look for within companies before making an investment?
Well, I look for something that does give them a moat around it. We have a company called See's Candy out on the West Coast. See's Candy is box chocolates. If you give a box of See's chocolates to your girlfriend on the first date and she kisses you, we own you. You know, I mean, we can raise the price tomorrow and you'll buy the same box. You're not going to fool around with success. So the key there is the response. Price is, to a degree, is immaterial. If you've got an economic castle, people are going to come and want to take that castle away from you. And you better have a strong moat. You better have a knight in the castle that knows what he's doing.
이 말은 즉 브랜드가 가지고 있는 가치에 투자를 한다는 말입니다. 그렇기 때문에 버핏은 코카콜라, 데어리킨, 프루트 오브 더 룸 같은 회사에 투자를 했습니다. 물론 회사의 재무제표는 반드시 확인하고 샀죠. 이제 워렌 버핏이 말하는 투자에서 가장 조심해야 될 점을 알아봅시다.
If you're emotional about investment, you're not going to do well. You may have all these feelings about the stock. The stock has no feelings about you.
자, 이 말 잘 명심해서 투자하기 전에 감정을 배제하고 항상 객관적인 상태에서 생각을 하시기 바랍니다. 감정이 이성을 잡아먹어 사야 할 때와 팔아야 할 때를 착각하는 경우가 많이 생기거든요. 실제로 워렌 버핏이 어떻게 투자를 하고 있는지도 한번 봐야겠죠. 그는 버크셔 해서웨이라는 기업을 통해서 투자를 하는데요. 이 주식을 사면 워렌 버핏이 투자하고 있는 회사에 똑같이 투자하는 효과를 얻을 수가 있습니다. 그런데 문제는 이 주식 한 주당 가격이 무려 3억 8천만 원 정도라는 거죠. 이 기업이 어떻게 돈을 버는지 한번 살펴봅시다.
Well, Berkshire is a holding company of sorts. It owns a large number of separate businesses that operate independently of each other and to a great extent from the parent company, Berkshire Hathaway.
I'll tell you how you do it. Have you ever seen a juggler juggle 25 milk bottles? How did he ever get to do that? The answer is he started with 1 bottle, then 2, then 3, and just kept doing it, and pretty soon he was at 25. And that's the way we did it. So basically, we started out with cash and ended up buying a bunch of businesses, including insurance companies.
Insurance is in itself a profitable business, but it has the additional advantage of creating something that's called float. And float is the money that hangs around Berkshire while a claim is waiting to be paid. And Warren turned out to have an extraordinary ability to use the money thrown off by the float to buy companies that fed the growth of Berkshire.
자, 한마디로 좋은 기업들을 사서 자회사로 두면 자회사의 배당금으로 모회사인 버크셔 해서웨이의 이익 또한 높아진다는 말입니다. 그러니까 자회사에 39만 명이 일을 하는데 반해 버크셔 해서웨이 본사 직원은 약 20명밖에 안 된다고 하니 말 다 했죠 뭐.
And I still probably spend 5 or 6 hours a day reading.
워렌 버핏도 빨라지는 트렌드를 따라가기 위해서 하루에 몇 시간 정도 신문과 책을 읽는다고 합니다. 구독자 여러분들께서도 책과 뉴스를 보면서 열심히 공부해보는 건 어떨까요? 오늘 영상 여기에서 마치도록 하겠습니다. 다음에 또 만나도록 해요. 다음에 또 만나요. 안녕.